And today I particularly want to focus, or we'll begin just by reminding ourselves about how powerful conditions 3 and conditions 4 can be for each of us. About how the experiences that we had, especially when we were young, can really get frozen into our nervous systems and make us feel vulnerable. How some of the social and cultural norms that were part of our lives, both when we're young and also as we've grown older, as the years have moved along, how those can play a role in making us feel vulnerable and in aggravating and sustaining our reactions, which show up as fear, anger, anxiety, and cause us to take things personally. And when we take things personally, as we learned the other day, that causes us to flip our lids, for our prefrontal cortex to come offline, and for us to lose our abilities for reasoning, for connecting, and for organizing. So there are several things that we can do. And today I'd like to focus on what we're referring to as the 3 building blocks of the foundation of resilience. There may be more than these, and if you think of others, that's great too. But I want to focus on 3 today: aspiration, connectedness, and how we relate to our emotions. And for each of these, we'll be in as I discuss each of them, we'll be in a bit of a reflective mode, where I'll be inviting you to pay particular attention to your own experiences here and to and to the topic that we're focusing on. So I'll begin by talking about aspiration. Aspiration is about what's most important in our lives, what really matters. And one of the ways that we know what really matters in our lives is that we can feel the energy associated with it. When we're in that place of doing something that really matters, we'll feel energized. And not just energized in an excited adrenaline rush kind of way, but energized with respect to feeling fulfilled. So it's both energy and feeling filled up, feeling rich. When we have found what's most important, it can serve as a ground or an anchor, a refuge, so that when we're in that moment of reactivity, when we're feeling a strong sense of anger or fear or anxiety, we can remind ourselves what's most important and take our attention back there. So let's take a couple of moments now and begin to contemplate what's most important in your life at this time. And one of the ways to do that is to recall a time in the last few months, say, when you felt very energized, when you felt fulfilled, when you felt as if life was really rich. Maybe it was walking out in nature. Maybe it was an interaction with somebody else. Maybe it was an act of kindness on your part, or you received an act of kindness. Find one of those moments and connect to the sensations of energy, to the sensations of fulfillment. Maybe you might even be thinking of 2 or 3 different occasions where something has been energizing and fulfilling for you. And as you continue to connect to this experience, consider how it might be a refuge for you, a resource, a go-to place for when you're feeling afraid or angry or anxious. How connecting to what's most important can be a resource and a refuge. Be part of the experience of bouncing back from moments of reactivity. And now taking a couple of deep breaths and letting go of your thoughts around what's most important. As we shift to thinking about a second building block in the foundation of resilience or bouncing back. And this building block is connectedness. I suspect all of us have had those moments when we're not only feeling afraid, angry, or anxious, but we feel extremely alone as well. A sense of loneliness, isolated, disconnected. And it's not unusual for those strong emotions to generate this feeling of loneliness. And feeling lonely and isolated only makes things worse. And so we turn our attention to taking care of ourselves, to finding ways to reconnect, not only with what matters to us, but to reconnect with ourselves. Sometimes it's simple. It's as simple as just crossing your arms like this, feeling your arms, feeling your body. Or maybe you might put your hand over your heart and turn your attention to feeling as if you're breathing through your heart. Tuning into a feeling of belonging. Maybe we just look at the space around us, the room we're in, or if we're outside, focus our attention on a building or a tree. Feel the ground beneath our feet. Feeling connected. Realizing that however powerful the feelings of disconnected, of isolation, of separateness are, that those are illusions, that that's not how life really is. We are all deeply connected. We're deeply connected to everything about this planet. Everything is interconnected. Whether we receive that information from the timeless wisdom traditions or contemporary science, we are connected. We belong. And the third building block is how we relate to our emotions. And this is, of course, the essence of mindfulness. When fear, anger, and anxiety arise, initially we might feel consumed by these emotions, feel overwhelmed by them, feel as if they have taken charge of our experience. And yet we know from our practice that we can take a moment and put ourselves in observer mode. After we've grounded ourselves, after we've taken some deep breaths, we can say, there is anger present, instead of saying, I feel so angry. Or fear is present, or anxiety is present. Just take a moment and notice if there's any difference for you between saying, I am angry, and anger is present. It is extremely important to recognize and allow these emotions. They are such an essential part of being human. They not only give us a great deal of information about what's happening in this moment, but can you possibly imagine living without emotions, flatlining through life? No, we don't want to do that. We want to relate to our emotions in a way so that we can experience them, get information from them, learn from them, and have them be a part of our lives without taking over our lives. All of these mindfulness practices that we do, the breathing, the concentration practices, the observing, the body scans, the connecting with kindness, all of these put us in this position of being the witness, the observer. Let's take a few moments now and do a little practice with all this. Beginning with a couple of deep breaths. We've been processing a lot. The deep breaths will bring us to center, will ground us. Filling those lungs all the way to the top, and then just a little bit more. And holding that breath, and then a long, slow release. And allowing your body to settle in with the surface you're sitting on. And softening. Softening around the eyes. Softening the jaw muscles. Dropping the shoulders. And softening any other parts of your body where you feel tension. and directing your attention to your breathing. Knowing that you are breathing in, knowing that you are breathing out. Bearing witness to your breathing. Noticing the nuances of breathing in and breathing out. Noticing that at the end of the in-breath and just before the out-breath, there's a little bit of a pause. No need to exaggerate it, just noticing. Being a bit of a scientist in observing breathing. Full awareness mode.